super lucky to be joined by eBay community legend Stephanie Inge, also known in the eBay community as Steph in Texas. So we're going to jump right in and allow Stephanie to introduce herself.
Hi, guys. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all today. Um, Hall of Famer Dana Crawford, and I feel very blessed to be invited. Um, I've been selling on eBay since March of '99, so a little over 24 years.
Wow.
Um, I teach eBay. Over the years, I have diversified, and I would say in the last 4 years, but eBay is still, got my heart and always will. But I have sold everything under the sun. And when my students ask me, well, what do you sell? I said, well, they think of them joking, but it's actually true. I've sold everything from low carb taco shells to a Harley Davidson. So that's a wide spread. And eBay did call me when I tried to sell the Harley because they knew that was out of my wheelhouse. And so that was the first time I felt very protected. Once I answered the right questions, they reinstated the listing. So that should make everybody, feel comforted, I think, because they are looking out for us.
Mhm.
And anyway, the low carb taco shells is a whole nother story that I won't get into, but it was very profitable, and I sold them by the case. So I
Wow.
didn't just sell like, a box of taco shells here and there. And it was only me and one other girl that sold those. So it was wide open, and it was when low carb first kind
Oh,
of, was trendy, but
uh-huh.
now it's available everywhere. So
Yeah,
again, you ride the wave till it dies out, and then you pivot and go on to a new wave. And so that's kind of what I do.
that's awesome. I
Mhm.
know. Well, Steph and I go back a few years. I remember first meeting you as an education specialist at a meeting, and I can't remember if it was Boston in 2007 or Chicago in
It was
2008.
Boston for
That's what
sure.
I thought. And we had
Uh,
lobster,
yes,
right?
I ate my weight in clam chowder every day.
Yes.
It was so
So
good.
good. Yes, I agree. That's right. So it was Boston, and that was um, such an honor for me to, connect with you. And that was my highlight of meeting Meg Whitman that year too.
Yes, that was really cool.
Yeah.
We've been through several CEOs over the years, but she
Mhm.
was the first that I met,
Yep.
and I really like that them being available, for us
Yes.
to meet. John Donahoe, and then should I dare mention Devin Weinig, and then now Jamie.
Yeah.
Uh, but you know, eBay has to pivot, right?
Right.
Everybody has to pivot. I think that's the new buzzword, pivot.
I like that.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
but
So,
yes, that's where we met.
and in addition to events like that, all those different kinds of eBay events that Dan has also done, all those CEOs. Now, did you launch the first eBay meetup or one of the first?
I did
All
in
right.
2002, and the reason for it is because I was really loving what I was doing, obviously, and still do. But back then, there weren't a lot of eBayers. And
Yeah,
I wanted to connect with people that spoke my language and,
that's right.
did what I did. And so I was reading an article, and I can't remember, it may have been in that magazine that eBay used to publish like once a
Yes.
month. And there was a girl in Atlanta, Georgia that had like thrown some kind of happy hour and invited people. There was no social media. So
Yeah.
I guess she found people like I ended up doing through the eBay community boards. And so I thought, oh my God, that's what I want to do. And so that's kind of how it started. And our first meeting was at a Chili's. And I think we had like 15 people the first meeting, which was it was great.
Yeah.
And that was the only meeting we had there, because the second meeting we had doubled like the number of people. And so we have always met, well, for the most part at restaurants. And then we went to a country club, and we've been in banquet rooms at hotels. But right now, for the last several years, we've had a really, really good location. It's actually in a classroom owned by a local IT company that allows us to use their facilities in the evenings. And so it's got all the high tech, can projectors and the large screens that come down from the ceiling. And so
Nice.
I don't have to lug all that stuff across Dallas and the 5 o'clock traffic. It's really been wonderful. And we have grown to about 400 and probably 70 members over the years, and just organically. I don't advertise or anything. And COVID, like everybody else, has put a big damper on that. There's still a lot of people that are kind of stuck, in their house thinking, they can't come out. But it's slowly but surely coming around, and we've been meeting back in person since late last year.
It's great. I know everybody enjoyed watching you grow that. I mean, it was just like the Dallas e-babes and emails, and it was really fun and inspiring to many of us that, tried to follow in
I
your
know I used to have many conversations with you. Dana, you need to do this in Florida, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
my vision was always to see at least one group in every state,
right,
and there's been people that have started groups and just they kind of fizzled out for one
yeah,
reason or another. But I'm glad that eBay finally got behind us,
yes,
and they give us a platform to advertise our meetings, and
yes,
they come visit our groups, and it's really, really been helpful for a lot of people who can't attend the live
right,
events.
right.
So it gives them that chance to get up close and personal. So I really like that.
On a local level, I like
Right.
it too. Yes, and they send swag too.
They do. Yeah. That's
That's
always a plus.
It is, it is. So I've always been impressed with your ability to market affiliate programs, and I think, in my opinion, you're like the trailblazer of getting the meetups going, and then you got into affiliate marketing. Seemed like you were always marketing things, and List Perfectly has a referral program that I know users would appreciate any marketing tips you may have for promoting their links.
Okay, well, social media is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
Um, if they have a list or a meetup, some type of group, um, obviously you can promote it in person or through emails when you're communicating with your list
Great.
or your people. Meetup doesn't provide us email addresses, but there's a built-in, you know what I'm talking about. Through the platform, we can communicate. And
Sure.
over the years, I have got, individual emails, but in an email is a great way to do this. Here's another tip that, okay, as an eBay instructor,
Mhm.
you have students that will ask you, well, what do you use for your to edit your photos, or what kind of lighting do you use, or what do you put it on a mannequin, or blah blah blah. So rather than have to answer the same questions over and over again, I kind of made a FAQ
Nice.
email that I could just send out if someone asks me those questions. And every one of those answers are an affiliate link for things that I already
Brilliant.
use.
Nice.
So it's
Brilliant.
just a win-win. They get to know what I use and with a direct link, and
Yeah.
then I get passive income. And way back in the day,
Yeah.
when I really was, making a lot of not a ton of money, but I would say $400 or $500 a month
Right.
in affiliate commission. Remember when eBay had the About Me page?
Yes.
Well, I use that specifically for my students. And basically what I'm telling you I'm doing now with email, I had a whole page. It was just resources where
Yeah.
they could learn more about eBay through books, through courses, uh, equipment or programs like List Perfectly, which weren't in abundance back then. But every month I'd get an envelope. Then, because back then they didn't send it to PayPal, and my husband would say, "Steph, what's this check for?" I said, "Well, hell, I don't know. Just give it to me." And so it was just like a bonus every month. I
Yeah.
didn't know where it came from. I didn't even care. It was just from links. And so now with social media, you can do that as well. Or let's say, I see you love vinyl. My husband does too. And let's just pretend like you found an awesome USB turntable.
Yeah.
And you think, oh my God, to digitize your albums. And so you were just going to share that, with your friends on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Y'all have to have this USB turntable, right? For your audiophile friends. Well, why not just make that an affiliate link? So if they happen to click on it, it doesn't matter if they buy that turntable. For 24 hours, there's a cookie set on their browser. So anything they buy within that 24-hour period, Doug's going to get commission on.
That's
And
right.
so it's just kind of a no-brainer. You see all these cute girls modeling their clothes that they got and on Amazon and stuff. Well, that's all. They're not selling anything.
Yeah.
All of that's affiliate. They're driving traffic to Amazon, so you can buy a cute outfit and pray that you look as cute as they do. And once you're there for 24 hours, they get their commission.
Yeah.
And so it's really a great way and very popular way to make money with reels now on Instagram.
Oh,
You could do the same thing, maybe not model clothes, but talk about something that you use on a daily basis that just happens to be for sale on Amazon. But Amazon's not the only game in town. eBay has an affiliate program.
that's right.
List Perfectly has an affiliate program. So we could go on there and talk about how List Perfectly is making my job and my life so much easier. And just happen to have my link down there if you want to just try it out for 2 weeks. So it's like, if you're going to talk about it, why not maybe make an accidental profit?
Sure.
Accidental profit.
I mean, it's not accidental, but
yeah, I know.
it just kind of a bonus if someone actually clicks on it. Doesn't cost them anything. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's really the best way to drive traffic. I know List Perfectly. Y'all don't do any advertising.
No,
it's all word of mouth, right?
Right.
And that's a testament to how good the program is.
That's right.
Y'all have grown a lot since it first came out.
Sure.
And it's all organically.
So part of you and part of a lot of sellers, but part of you in particular is your brand. So tell us more about your brand and how you came up with your brand name, how you named your brand.
Well, that one's easy because when I started, the internet, was fairly new, and they still called it the World Wide Web or the information superhighway.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know that much about it, and so I thought, oh my God, I'm getting ready to get on the World Wide Web and start selling stuff. And I don't want some pervert knowing if I'm a female, so I didn't want to give my full name. And my friends call me Steph, and I'm in Texas. And so I thought that way they won't know if I'm Steph or Stephen, or Stephanie or Stephen. And so I felt safe just doing Steph. And people over the years, it seems like a lot of people, for one reason or another, maybe because we talk slow, or I don't know what it is, but they seem to trust us and they think we're friendly. And so I thought if I threw in Texas, that would be a plus. And so that's how it came to be.
I like that. I like that a lot. Well, speaking of brands, Steph has done such a good job with that. I always think of you when I see anything like a Texas flag or even an outline of Texas. I actually think of Steph in Texas.
And see,
So
that makes my heart feel good.
it's true. And I didn't make that up or lie. It's so true. And after all these years, that still is your selling name. You've stuck behind your brand all of these years.
And when people say, "What's the name of your company?" Well, I don't really have a company. I'm a one-woman show, but
Yep.
here's what it is, and it just kind of like the Dallas e-babes and emails.
Yeah,
We have diversified over the years, but
sure.
everybody knows our name. Like I sound like
That's
friends,
right.
right? But
That's right.
I'm not going to change it after all these years.
No.
Uh, just people that know us just know that we will cover more than just eBay. Not mostly it is eBay or marketing or
Yeah,
programs that can help us, but I think everybody has diversified a little bit,
sure.
and if not, they're thinking about it.
Sure. But it's a great identification of you and your brand and a great example of the risk involved if you change your or rebrand
Right,
because you've held strong to your brand like Coca-Cola.
right, right. Yeah, people don't like change. It makes me uncomfortable. But I mean, we've experienced that with eBay, just the colors. You know,
Sure.
I still like the old
I
colors.
still
And
use the
every
old
time
color.
I put this tape, this turquoise tape I have on my packages, I think, why did
Yeah.
they do that? There was if it's not broke, why did they try to fix it?
I
But
know.
anyway, I like the old colors,
Yeah.
just for the record.
I still use it myself.
So, so speaking of change and the old colors, you have been on eBay for years. We talked about that, but have you expanded to other marketplaces? And if so, how do those other marketplaces?
I have. I tried Amazon for a while
Mhm.
and the FBA part, and I, in theory, it's
Mhm.
great, but there's so many obstacles and restrictions, and it's just uh, next to impossible. If you start doing really good, Amazon competes against you,
Yeah.
and so I I don't sell on Amazon. Haven't probably in about 4 or 5 years. But at one of the eBay opens, I was talking to a friend of mine from LA, and she was talking. We went to dinner. She's talking all about Poshmark. And I said, "Well, I've heard of that."
Mhm.
And I said, "But do you really do well?" "Oh God, yeah." And I'm going, "Oh, I can't wait to get back to Dallas." And so that I mean, I was fired up, and so I
Uh-huh.
came home and uh, dipped my toe in the water, and so I now use when I first started, it was just clothing, shoes, and accessories. So that was all right, but they have expanded. So they actually let you sell just about everything.
Mhm.
There are a few exceptions. And so I use List Perfectly to cross post to
Yeah.
Poshmark. And when it's applicable, I will cross post to Etsy. So those are my three platforms and Facebook Marketplace.
Yep.
I don't really do that well on Facebook Marketplace
Mhm.
because I think that kind of lends itself better to large items that are hard to ship. I may be wrong, but what I have found, just touching back on the affiliate program,
Mhm.
it's crazy, and y'all may have experienced this before, but you'll go on there and you'll see, a brand new item ships free. You go,
Mhm.
wow, how in the world can they afford to do that? Well, guess what? It's not really an affiliate, although some are. What they do is they list the item, they use Amazon, the picture that's on Amazon, and when it sells, they log into Amazon using their Prime account and they ship it to their friend Dana Crawford in Florida. And so you're going, wow, because it always arrives in an Amazon box. So it's either an affiliate link or they're doing it what I just
Wow.
told you. And
Interesting.
so that's a lot of people are doing that on Facebook Marketplace,
That's a racket.
which is great because we couldn't afford to pay free shipping.
Yeah.
So, it's just another way to add a revenue stream to your
Wow.
list of streams.
Yeah.
So I forget what the question was. I think I got sidetracked there. I'm sorry.
No, it was he asked about other
Oh,
marketplaces.
which platforms? Yeah, so
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, that's interesting though. Thanks for sharing the Facebook Marketplace with us.
Yeah, we're
You're
right
welcome.
now.
It's just
I
something
can't wait
just
now. I'm
happened to
gonna go.
discover. Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna go.
like, and if it says shipping, sometimes I'll ask now, is this coming from Amazon?
Oh,
And if they don't answer me, I usually know, yep, that's what it means.
that's
But
so
I
funny.
don't have an objection as long as I'm getting
No.
the free shipping. That's a win-win.
Yeah, as long as you're getting your items. So they're using their Prime account.
Yeah,
I
and I
get
can use List Perfectly for that too, to
Yeah.
post a Facebook. And I love being able to delete the listings once it's sold.
Right.
There are just so many benefits.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
when Clara and Trish were in Dallas a
Yes.
couple months ago,
Yes.
they didn't actually teach. They talked about some of the benefits of List Perfectly, which was great.
Mhm.
And I'd mentioned to you about maybe teaching a class virtually.
Yep.
But I did learn I learned one thing or a few things, but I started utilizing the platform way more than I ever had. And I knew that that's the
Good.
way I should have been doing it all along. And by that, I'm talking about now I list everything in the List Perfectly platform.
Yes.
And I have found that to be, I was kind of intimidated to do that because, again, I'm old school and I've only ever created my listings on eBay.
Right.
Then I would export them into List Perfectly. And then I would export them from List Perfectly into the other platform. I
Right.
thought there's got to be an easier way.
That's
And
right.
so now I do it like I told you, and it is so much easier. And then at the bottom, I actually put in my cost of goods
Yes.
and then the price. And then when it's sold, I can put in the shipping and all that. I'm going like, I can't believe I didn't know this even existed. I was only just scratching the surface.
That's
And
right.
so it really makes me excited every time I get to mark something sold or add a new listing.
Right.
People don't realize how powerful that program is.
It
And
is.
y'all aren't paying me to say that, but I am living proof. It is amazing. And I can't believe it took me so long to figure that out, but
I know. I
it's
know
great.
exactly how you feel. I fell in love with the program too. So
Yeah.
it's made my life easier. You list directly on List Perfectly.
Here's something you can use.
Yes.
Okay, so people ask me, well, how much does it cost? I said they have different subscriptions. I'm on the $49 a month subscription. They
Yep.
go, $49 a month? I'll go, okay, you go find an assistant. You hire somebody that will do all your listings for $49 a month, which is what, about $1.25 a day? You go find somebody that'll work and do all that for $1. They'll go, oh, I never thought about it like that. But it's like having an assistant.
It is.
Who's going to work for $50 a month? I think that's a hell of a deal. So you got to put things in perspective.
That's right.
And so I think it's great. Don't go up on the price on me now.
No.
But I love it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, I know. I do too, and that's why I took a position with the company
Well,
because
they were smart to hire you.
Thanks. I too only promote things that I believe in. So you've also impressed me with your knowledge on issues that online sellers face, like state taxes and such. So please share your story about how you got involved with eBay's government relations.
Okay. Well, I don't remember how I found it, but it's very important. And they also go by eBay Main Street, but
Yes.
it's eBay government relations. They have offices all over the world, but the one that I'm familiar with is the one in Washington, D.C. And I'm going to talk about the main issue right now. Well, and I'll touch on the 1099K, which is also
Sure.
taxes. A lot of eBay sellers, and this, I don't mean this in a negative way, but most people hate politics. This has nothing to do with politics, but
Right.
when they hear government, they're going,
Right.
you know, and this could affect all of us online sellers. It's not just an eBay thing, it's all platforms. But I just got back from Washington, D.C., I think May 12th,
Yep.
and I spent 2.5 days out there. It's my third time to go. But this time it was to lobby our legislators to vote against what's called the Shop Safe Act. And I won't go into long, detail on it, but suffice it to say, it made the hair on the back of my neck stand straight up. It still does.
Okay.
eBay would have like 13 hoops to jump through. And it's all about the big brands who actually introduced this. And then they've got people in their back pocket in DC. Jerry Nadler is the main one. He's in New York. Anyway, they don't like us reselling their stuff, their brand.
Okay.
And I had the opportunity to meet with eBay's GR lawyer, very knowledgeable. His specialty is not IT. Oh God, I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, he's like the one that looks at it's all about counterfeit. Okay. And so they're making it sound like they're doing this to protect the public. But really, what they're trying to do is get rid of the little sellers. And I'm just going to say, like us, I don't know how big y'all are or how little you are. But what it would entail is a 3-strike you're out policy. As a seller, we would have no recourse. We would have no due process to prove that our item was not counterfeit. If a brand calls eBay, emails eBay, and I'm using eBay as the example.
Sure.
They would have to remove the listing. 3 of those would get you banned from the site for life.
Wow.
It doesn't matter if you've been selling for 28 years. You would be banned, no questions asked.
Wow.
Then here's another sweet little nugget. On top of that, they would require that eBay or whatever platform it is include your name, your at-home address, which is where most of us operate out of, and your phone number. Now, isn't that special?
Wow.
And that's so if they want to serve us with papers for a lawsuit, they know where to find us.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not making this up. You can pull it up, Shop Safe Act, and read it for yourself.
Okay.
eBay would have to supposedly verify the authenticity of our items. And also we would have to prove where the item originated from. Well, if we're buying used items, we don't always have that information. So like I said, eBay has 13 hoops they would have to jump through. So they're lobbying hard, trying to get them not to pass this. It's not up for vote right now, but it will be sometime this year.
Okay.
The other thing was passed like in the middle of the night, basing this on what eBay shared with us during COVID, when it was kind of a skeleton crew working on Capitol Hill. And it was the 1099. Used to, it was $20,000 before we'd get a 1099.
That's right.
Well, sometimes during COVID, someone got a wild hair and changed that to $600 from $20,000. Well, eBay's lobbying hard to get them to revise that.
Okay.
They said that they would agree, to $10,000, but ultimately they would like it to return to the $20,000 threshold. And just to kind of protect us, because one person, and this could be Facebook, it doesn't matter, could just sell a bicycle, and all of a sudden, just something out of their garage that they don't use anymore, all of a sudden they're getting a 1099K.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, those are the two issues that we were talking about. And but the Shop Safe Act could put a lot of people out of business. If you're
Wow.
selling vintage paper like menus, I don't think you're going to have to worry about it. But if you're selling, like I sell a lot of clothing, shoes, and
Right.
accessories,
Right.
if someone wants to put you out of business, all they have to do is send
Report.
3 emails and it's curtains.
Wow.
That's scary.
Wow. Yeah, well, thank you for representing, because I mean,
And here,
it's
I
like,
don't mean to interrupt you, but so to answer your original question, how I got involved with eBay Main Street or government relations,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yep.
If anyone out there that is listening wants to get involved, people like me that are part of that program, we're called a small business ambassador, or
Yep.
SBAN.
Yep.
They're welcoming new members for people that would like to get involved on a deeper level.
Mhm.
But even if you don't want to get involved, if you want to make sure that the people in DC hear from you, the government relations website has links and phone numbers where you can call your legislators or email them directly and voice your opinion on this Shop Safe Act. So you don't have to get involved. You can just voice your opinion and just log into the website. Just Google it, or there's probably a link somewhere on the eBay site. And the one thing I mentioned to eBay, because a lot of people are in the dark and have no idea that this stuff exists, right?
Right. Right.
I think eBay could really do a big service by putting a link. Read about current legislation that may affect your small business, and just put a link on the main page so people can educate themselves, with what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. So they can go directly to there. And I just wanted to add to that I like the advantage of I'm not confident enough to go like you do, to go before the legislation and all of that. So I appreciate that you do that. But what I do, my part, is to always log in and sign up for the emails, because it allows me to put in my name and simply email my representatives, and they have them custom made. They have them pre-made. So
Yeah, so you don't have to think of what to say.
no, I don't have to think to what to say, and I don't have to go to Washington. So
Right.
thank you though for going and being a part of
Well,
that.
I mean, it was an invitation from eBay, and
Of
once a
course.
year, they have it's called eBay Advocacy Day,
Mm-hmm.
and so they select
States.
constituents from various states, and then they
Yep.
fly us out there, and then there's a briefing and stuff like that. So if you get involved, you may have the opportunity to accept an invitation like that.
Sure. So the community plays a huge part for online sellers in so many ways, as we got into a little bit. But since you're so active in the online community, can you please share your top 3 reasons why people should connect with a community?
I think, well, my first reason is probably not anything to do with business, but I just like connecting with people that do what I do. And the second thing that, is just a residual of that, is I always learn something from people just in casual chat, like by
Right.
saying, oh, I learned about such and such today. It could have been List
Right.
Perfectly or a new shipping program.
Yep.
So the education I get from networking with other people that do what I do. And then the third reason I would say is it's kind of an accountability thing.
Mm.
You feel if you're just out here floundering all alone in your home office, you don't really have anybody to, report to, obviously, which is a good thing. But when you're connected, people say, well, how many listings do you have, or how are your sales? You feel kind of like, I don't know if you'd say competitive, but you want to uh, feel like you're doing your job, and you don't want to look like a deadbeat in front of your peers. So to me, when I say accountable, that's kind of what I mean.
I get
Uh,
it.
it inspires me, and
Yeah.
it makes me want to do better. Like there's this
Yes.
couple in our group. I don't know if y'all know them, Herb and Martha Oberman. Uh, it's a husband and wife team, and they usually have like 10,000 listings. And
Wow.
Herb has been sick lately, and Martha called me one day, just to let me know she wouldn't be able to attend the meeting, which should be the least of her worries. And she said, "Oh my God," she said, "we're down to 7,000 listings." I went, "Oh my God, I better start listing." It's like,
Oh my goodness.
like if you only knew how many I had. But so I think if a couple that are their age can crank out 10,000 listings, I
Yeah,
could, buckle down. And so I've really been doing that lately. And so I think those three reasons are
good.
the primary ones: education, friendship, and, you know, accountability, I guess.
Love it.
There you go. So we talked about this a little bit as we were catching up before we started recording. So you've seen a lot of changes with eBay over the years. So look in your crystal ball, Stephanie,
Mhm.
and tell us what you think the future holds for resellers. And do you have any predictions for future trends?
Well, right now, and I had this conversation with Adam Ireland when I was in DC. I was not scolding him, obviously, but I was just trying to talk him, just like reason with him. So, and anyway, so eBay, and this is exactly how I put it. I said, Adam, eBay, when I first started selling on eBay, you too, Dana, it was like the only game in town, and that's what everybody was talking about. And it was synonymous with auctions. I mean, every night on Letterman or, one of those late night shows, somebody was showing up with some crazy thing they had sold on or bought on eBay. And of course, there were stories, backstories, but nevertheless, eBay was all in the news and known for auctions. So let's fast forward to 2023. Okay. You've got Whatnot. It's all the rage. You know, I know people that are killing it on Whatnot. Okay. And now Poshmark has live auctions where we can take the stuff we already have listed and put it up for auction, a live auction. And people are all about the excitement of the auction and the interaction, with a live breathing person. And so I'm going, Adam, the person that invented the freaking auctions isn't even doing it. Y'all should be leading the pack. He goes, well, we're talking about it. And so my prediction, he said they're talking about it. And my hope is that eBay goes back to allowing us to do live auctions so we can compete in the same arena as these other platforms. You can do live auctions on Facebook. I don't know about YouTube, but I don't do YouTube. So, um, anyway, so that would be my immediate crystal ball prediction is whether it's because I know it's not going to be because of me, but it's just the time of the the timing, is like everybody else is doing it. And
Sure.
I wish eBay really was leading the pack because that was their niche and they were good at it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would just bring a whole new dimension to eBay, you know, the excitement and another way for us to connect with the community and branding. It would still go through the platform.
Yeah.
And so that is my immediate prediction. Um, as far as everything else, my next conference call when I hang up with y'all will be my quarterly call with eBay. And
Okay.
so I will be able to call you back. No, I'm just teasing. So I'll find out more, but I don't expect to hear anything about auctions. But I really have no predictions. I think it's just going to be the same, you know, same thing that we've seen all along. That they are thinking more and more about the sellers, which I like. Whereas
Sure.
before we used to always be convinced that they were in favor of the buyers. But I think now they're really, uh, you know, taking a look at the sellers. And so I like that.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they're listening more so than they used to. I'm not saying they didn't, but it just seemed like they didn't.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I was there during the Devin Wenig era, and he was very buyer oriented. So that was a lot of his push. And then they do have some eBay lives, but it's pretty limited. We were up there.
Oh, it's very limited.
Yeah, we were up there a couple of months ago, and they've internally kind of have, I don't know, there's kind of a debate going on internally, it seems, over lives. But
Well, a little birdie, and I'm not going to mention any names, told me that Jamie, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Ione,
I know.
is very seller oriented and community oriented, and he likes connecting and stuff. And so I just hope that I mean, he's the big kahuna.
Yeah.
So I hope that he really pushes that, because when I asked Adam about that, he said that they're trying to reach more sellers, you know, by doing the virtual thing,
Yeah.
but you can't really connect with people. And I'm sorry, the clapping tunnel on the internet is nothing like the real clapping tunnel. I
Yeah.
mean,
I was there. I was there for that.
but the
the tunnel.
virtual,
Well, I was there for the recording.
oh, okay. But it's still not the same as from a viewer's
Yeah,
perspective.
no, I
You
know.
don't get that. And so I hope that they do go back to in-person events. The little 2 hour or 3 hour thing that they had, like,
Yeah,
you know, where they're calling it a hybrid event.
right.
It's just, to me, it doesn't get people really excited. And I like people to get excited about eBay, because I get excited,
Yes,
and I want them to see why I get excited. You
right.
know, it's like I get excited when I have like a big sale or a big profit, I should say. Um, but the thing that really gets me going are the people. You know,
Sure.
the friendships that I have made over the years are with people that I would have never met, and the opportunities and the doors it has opened for me. I feel like the most blessed person ever. I mean, who I would have never gone to Capitol Hill. It'd be like the Beverly
No.
Hillbillies doing DC, you know.
Ah,
But I mean, the opportunities it has afforded
that's
me,
right.
being on a podcast with people like y'all, um, it's it just really makes my heart
Yeah,
so happy. It really
I know.
does, even after all these years.
Right. Wonderful.
We know you sell on Poshmark as well. Let's move over to Poshmark. So it'd be interesting to get your perspective and any Poshmark tips that you have for new sellers and making more sales.
Okay. Well, it's super easy to list on Poshmark. There's not all the item specifics, so it goes really, really quick. But since I'm listing everything through List Perfectly, uh, it's super easy
Yeah.
there too. I don't have to jump through so many hoops or boxes, then the two things that really stick out to me that I absolutely love, one is shipping. The buyer pays the same amount on shipping up to 5 pounds, and Poshmark collects that. Well, they collect all the money, but
Yeah.
as soon as an item sells, they send me a shipping label. So I'm not paying commission on shipping, and I don't have to listen to people complain, but my shipping's so high. And I can use any priority mailbox. It doesn't matter if it's flat rate, regional rate. If I have a flat rate box, a priority mailbox, I can put it in there up to 5 pounds. So I don't have to weigh it. This, shoes don't weigh 5 pounds. So any box, no weighing, and you have your shipping label and no complaints about shipping.
There you go.
There's actually 3 things. They don't really believe in returns, and they call it reposhing. If somebody doesn't like something and sends them an email, they'll ask them, and there's a little button. If you don't like it or you've worn it 3 times and tired of it, they can click a button to reposh it. It brings in all the pictures, the listing, and everything, and boom,
Nice.
it's for sale. So reposhing, shipping, and then probably the best thing is no deadbeat bidders. Because before someone can buy something or make an offer to buy something, they have to make sure their credit card is on file. And so when you get an email that something's sold, there's no like waiting 3 days or,
Right.
so those are really great things. And, and the emails you get from them, even if you screw up, and as a new seller, you're gonna have pitfalls.
Yeah.
They'll, like, one time I shipped out, and I'm all about shipping as fast as possible, and eBay's always encouraged us to do that. So I do the same thing on Poshmark or wherever I sell. So I shipped an item out, and all of a sudden they send me an email, don't ship such and such. I went, I already did. What do I do now? They said, well, we have a 3-hour window where they allow someone to cancel a purchase that I wasn't aware of. They said, but since you didn't know, we'll go ahead and deposit the funds into your account since you didn't know. And no worries. It
Yeah.
happens to the best of us. So they don't like slap you on the wrist and make you feel like if you do that again. They're just really
Yeah.
positive reinforcement. And when it's more like social selling in many ways, where they encourage people and a lot of times reward people for sharing other people's listings with their followers. And that's how you get elevated in the searches instead of just, best match or, having the right keywords or whatever. It's all about sharing your own listings. And then everything is reciprocal. When you share other people's listings to your followers, usually they'll come back and share 3 or 4 of your listings to their followers. So it's just everything. It's like, it is kind of about a virtual community.
Sure.
I've met some people in person, but it's really encourages people to help each other, and I love that that whole atmosphere.
Right. Oh my gosh, Steph, it's just been so much fun talking with you. I hope that we get to see you at an event really soon.
I'm going to try and go to the Boss Reseller Remix. I know y'all were there last year, so if so, maybe I'll see y'all there.
Great.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be
And
there.
Dana, touch base with me about doing a virtual thing, and we'll figure something out
Okay,
for later
great.
this year.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Stephanie. Do you have any final words?
No, just let's try to make sure that damn Shop Safe Act doesn't pass.
Okay.
And if you're not using List Perfectly, jump in there and at least try it for a couple of weeks. And
Yeah.
the best advice I can give them is create the listing in that platform.
Yeah.
It'll make your life so much easier. It really will.
There you go.
Um,